Hey, everybody, thank you for joining today's Lean Bites. If you haven't joined before, my name is Alec Harrison. I'm a generative AI staff engineer here at Lean Techniques. If this is your first time here, welcome. The idea is that it's a short 16-minute talk where we work to provide you with simple, practical tips and techniques you can start applying at your organization today. Quick organization notes we have earlier this year, we formally launched a data and analytics practice to better support our customers. That's where Matt Gordon, our new director of data and analytics, he's coming in to lead this practice and give you a talk today. Also, want to announce that we have earned our data and AI and digital app and innovation designations from our Microsoft partnership. That's a goal to better support clients and maybe even get you some Microsoft cash to support your next tech initiative. So, if you want to learn more about that, reach out to me or anybody at Lean Techniques. And then if you're working through any challenges related to data, AI, app innovation, just want to talk about what's going on in the AI world, I'm always happy to chat with people too. So reach out to me, email, LinkedIn, I'll put that in the chat. With that, let's get started. I'm excited to introduce our Director of Data Analytics and Microsoft MVP and Data Platforms, Matt Gordon, to discuss Microsoft IQ. Matt, talk
All
some
right.
to you.
Thank you, Alec. Let's see if there we go. Okay. All right. So yeah, this is me. Short thing, I've been doing data work. We'll just say 20 plus, and that's how I'm going to keep it. I've been doing this kind of work better than 10 years. I've been an MVP. I've been fortunate to be one here for a few years running, which is good. It does give us kind of that peek behind the curtain. A lot of that's under NDA, but not all of it. And that allows us to kind of give good advice and share where Microsoft thinks things are headed and make sure that we help customers make the right decisions to whether that aligns with what they're doing or not. I do get to drive race cars part-time too. There are no race cars on these slides, but if you want to talk about race cars, find me on LinkedIn. Always happy to do that. So, if you followed the announcements around the Fabric Community Conference or FabCon last month in Atlanta, or you followed the announcements from Microsoft Ignite last November, you saw a lot of announcements around Microsoft IQ, or if you're particular to data, Fabric IQ, but kind of this notion of IQ. Depending on the blog you read, or the news story you read, or the headline you saw, or whatever, not a lot of details there. So we wanted to kind of cover this because at the conference last month, even for people that went to the keynote and things like that, they had a lot of questions like, what does Microsoft mean? What is this stuff? Do I have to have it? Should I have it? How does it work? It's impossible to cover all that in 15 minutes, but I want to give us kind of a head start. Like, what should we be thinking about? What conversations could you continue with us afterwards? So we're going to dive into a few slides on kind of my take on what I think they mean. So, kind of first things first, there are three branches of IQ as Microsoft sees it. There's Work IQ, which is more focused on M365 and that kind of stuff. It gives agentic skills to Copilot. It, in theory, allows some agents to kind of run around behind the scenes and some communication threads and things like that that it sees that are related. It's going to try to pull those together and give you some prompts to maybe reach out to people or synthesize some data for you, and so you can present that in a different way. We're not going to spend much more time on that. Foundry IQ is definitely the most AI focused. What it really does is allow you, it does a lot of things, but the main guts of that announcement was you can create a multi-source knowledge base that many agents can use. So you can bring data in from inside your organization, outside. You can have agents creating data that they then feed to other agents to do certain things and take action and all of that. And the things you knew is like Azure AI Studio and stuff like that all kind of got rolled up into Foundry and Foundry IQ. But Fabric IQ is what we're here to chat about. So, what Microsoft's going to say here is like, well, this allows you to take all the data sitting inside your org, which they'd love to see in Fabric or Azure SQL or something like that, and all the data around your org, which you can shortcut into Fabric using something called shortcuts. It allows you to then put a semantic layer on top of all of that. So kind of your business vocabulary is the same across the organization. And so the next few slides obviously are going to dive into what that means. Just the quick thing is like, what do these IQs do? Essentially, they enable agentic workflows in M365, in Azure AI stuff, and in Fabric and broadly Azure data. They are separate, like you'll see on marketing slides, it shows it as three streams, but they can be combined and can work together in certain ways. We obviously can't cover that in the next 10 minutes, but that possibility is there. So if you're already using some of this stuff and want to know how to plug it in, chat with us. So Fabric IQ, what does it actually do? As keynotes often are, lots of sizzle videos, lots of good looking slides, not much on how does it work and what can I do with it. So the Microsoft line here is it unifies your data and organizes it according to the language of your business. I got a lot of questions walking around the conference that week. It's like, is this something I have to buy? So I included this bullet here. It's included in Fabric. It's not additional. It's not like Fabric Plus. IQ is just a workload, just like lake houses, warehouses, anything else. In layman's terms, what it does is it gives the agent something more natural for them to use to navigate from a data structure perspective. An agent may not uh, be in its natural habitat, navigating a relational database and querying it to try to find out some things to take action on it. Um, so at least Microsoft's thinking here is that graph databases and things similar to that, agents navigate that almost more like a human thought pattern. And I put all this in quotes because the notion of agents reasoning and thinking like humans can be pretty overblown in headlines and things like that. But it's giving them the data structures that they prefer to operate in, basically. And it allows us to define terms and concepts across all of our data. So you're laying this across everything. Um, I've certainly had a lot of clients over the years where different terms meant different things by division, by department, by team. That's always a challenge, and it's not just a challenge for people. It can be a technology challenge as well. And Fabric IQ is Microsoft's way to hopefully help solve that. So what's in it? So there are basically six things. So obviously we don't have the time here to go over each one in depth, though I'd absolutely love to. So you've got ontology, which is basically it is an enterprise vocabulary. So it's a semantic layer on top of your Power BI data, on top of your lake houses, on top of your warehouses where you define the relationships between those. Those are then manifested in the graph database, which we'll get to here in a second. And that semantic layer is common across everything. Instead of like each Power BI semantic model having the ability to have its own terms and own concepts and all of that, those still exist. The ontology lays over that to kind of standardize those. So if you're engaged in data governance and things like that, it will help you. Plan is very, very new. So this keynote at FabCon, and what it does is it brings together like planning and budgeting, and then the visualization and analytics that go with those. It brings those into Fabric in a no-code platform. And it also gives you the ability to do write back. So if you're using like Power BI data to do that kind of forecasting and planning, you can make this, you can have it make changes to the underlying data as those forecasts and plans move forward. But it's very early days for this, but plan is considered part of Fabric IQ as well. Graph, we mentioned. So Graph is a different kind of database than a relational database, probably that some of us know well. And like I said, it's been around a while, but it seems to be the databases that agents navigate the best. And so you're going to get your best outcomes, your faster outcomes using Graph. There are two types of agents in this as well. So data agent is not just a part of IQ, it exists throughout Fabric. It gives you the ability to do conversational AI with a variety of data sources in Fabric or things you've shortcutted or mirrored in. Operations agents are kind of a new take, and I could spend a lot of time on these because there's other parts of Fabric they build on that are really cool, but they're out of scope here. Um, Operations agents, like you might think, give you the ability to take actions on things. So if it sees a business condition happen, you can give it the authority and the ability to say this condition's been met or this thing has lasted long enough where I need to step in and execute the workflow that I've been told will change this or help it. That's pretty new to Fabric and a queue as well, and semantic models in this too. But obviously, those have been around a long time. So that kind of leads, I think, to a few questions that we'll wrap up with here. Do I need IQ to do AI in Fabric? I will say the way the marketing was presented, the answer seemed to be yes. It's like, well, I need IQ, like agents need it, so I got to have it. I would dispute that. So I don't want to give the whole slide away with the title, but I would say my answer to this is no. You've got if you're using Fabric, you've got a lot of data in it. Data agents have existed for a year and a half. They've been GA, I think, almost a year. So you can do a lot of that conversational AI and even plug those into some agentic workflows in like Copilot Studio and things like that. You don't need any of Fabric IQ to do that. Like they say data agents are a part of it, but data agents existed before IQ did. Azure SQL has a lot of AI capabilities. They kind of get lost in all the marketing noise, but I have a real passion for those because there's a lot of folks that run SQL, a lot of folks that run Azure SQL, and they may see this and say, "Oh, I need Fabric to do AI in Azure." Absolutely not. Would love to chat more about that. Our time just doesn't allow it here. But that's a topic that's a favorite of mine. Foundry, which we talked about, and connect to a lot of your data. You don't necessarily need Fabric IQ and its kind of bits and bytes to do all that. You can connect agents to that data in some other ways. And if you're a fan of, if you're running Fabric and Databricks, for example, they've made some really nice advances in the AI space, in the agentic space. You may say because Databricks and Fabric kind of are interoperable and kind of cooperate some things, you may say, well, I want some of my Fabric data to be presented in Databricks for their AI stuff to do their thing. And that's okay too. So you don't need IQ to do AI here. Should you be using it today? Classic consulting answer. It depends. So when I was building the slide, I'm thinking like, yeah, I'm not going to say it's right for everybody. I'm not going to say it's not right for everybody because neither one of those would be true. But what questions does that prompt? So now that you know a little bit about what it does and a little bit about maybe some of the problems that it might solve, the way you can think through it or you can talk to us and we can help with this is, do you have problems that it can help solve? Did that pique your interest a few slides back? And you're like, I think that could help us with governance or forecasting or something like that. Then the answer is maybe. Do you have the capacity for it? And that's not just people. I would say not to get into the performance of Fabric too much, but right now, Fabric IQ, ontology specifically, you need a capacity that's pretty powerful to have a really good experience with it. If that's what you have or that's what your budget is, fantastic. If that's not where it is, then IQ is probably not right for you. Do you have the data stewards, the people doing governance and things like that to establish that enterprise vocabulary everywhere? Maybe, maybe not. Something to think about. And how cutting edge do you need to be to stay competitive in your sector? That's something to think about as well. Last but not least, is Fabric IQ for everyone? Microsoft will say yes. Early adopters will say yes, it's the coolest thing ever, better than sliced bread. Community champions will say, yeah, but here's some caveats to it. Consulting leaders like me, I'll tell you, it's not right for everyone. For some people, it's great. And for some people, it would be a waste of time to pursue any time in the next, several months. Where you fit on that, we're happy to talk through that. So what are the next steps? Are there AI projects that you have now? Are they solving problems that you have, or are you just doing them to do them? Are they exposing problems in your data now? And can those problems be solved? Or have you identified them yet to know what they are and how you might solve them? And kind of what's your overall strategy? Where's your data going? What are you doing with it? What would you like to do with it? And those, of course, are all areas that we can help. These are ways to find me. I'm SQL at Speed on LinkedIn because race car. My email address is there, and obviously leantechniques.com is our website for more information about us and my practice and all of that. And thank you so much.
Awesome. With that, we'll go ahead and wrap up the Lean Bites. Thank you all for attending. We love to hear what you thought of today's session. When you leave, there'll be a little pop-up to tell us how you liked the session, how it went, and all that sort of fun stuff. And reach out to Matt directly or myself if you want to chat more. Thanks, everybody, and have a great rest of your week.